think we have a critical mass. We can begin our webinar. Firstly, welcome everyone to Quail Springs. I'm speaking from the cathedral, which is one of our Cobb buildings on this land. Speaking from Chumash land, who have tended this land for many generations before we arrived here. I will introduce myself first and pass it on to the others who are co-hosting this webinar. My name is Ashwin Mantri Pragada. I am one of two executive directors here, and I'm going to pass it on to the other, all of the other staff members who might be on this call to quickly introduce yourselves if you are available to do so. So I'll first pass it to the person sitting next to me.
Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Aris Romero. I am the program director here at Quail Springs, and I've been with Quail since August of 2021. And my background is in herbalism and biodynamic agriculture. And one of my personal goals this year is to take the PDC with the participants.
Oh, and real quick, my pronouns are he, him.
And she, her, ella. Let's give it to Brenton.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Brenton Kelly. I've been living here at Quail Springs for a wonderful 14 years, and I'm one of the instructors in our permaculture design course, and am happy to share this evening with you and answer any questions, and would like to hand it over to one of our co-teachers, Abudu. Want to introduce yourself? Welcome, everyone.
Greetings. Akwaba Midinde Awudu. Welcome. My name is Abudu or Awudu. Either one is fine. I am very happy to see some friendly faces, some faces that I know and have attended in the garden with you before. If my words are slightly jumbled, or if I'm not as sharp in my mental clarity at the moment, I'm recovering from COVID, so please bear with me as I give this presentation. Thank you. And who should
I'm gonna pass it over here. And if someone is in your room that would like to introduce themselves, it's also welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alex Prima. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the other executive director along with Ashwin. I just wanted to say hi. And let's see.
And Jan Smith is here. Oh, there we go.
Come on, Jan.
Oh, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. My pronouns are she, her. I've, along with Brenton, been at Quail Springs for 14 years and on the board of directors prior to that, and so appreciate all of this good energy today. And Abudu, thank you for being here. I'm excited to hear what you are going to share.
Kasha, would you like to introduce yourself? And Chacha and Kasha.
Rachel. Hey everyone. We got a little crew, a funny sunlight situation. We're calling in from the Quail Springs kitchen, and my name's Chanel, Chacha, she, they.
Looks like
But should I keep talking?
Oh yeah.
Oh, looks like it's back.
We have an unstable internet connection.
Yeah.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Kasha. So glad y'all are here. Thanks for being here.
Great.
And we'll pass it to TC. What? I don't know. Are we introducing everyone? What's going on?
No.
We'd actually like to keep it to staff only
Yeah.
because there's quite a number of people on the call. And so I just wanted to make sure that everyone on staff had a chance. And if we have time towards the end of the phone call, or when we're doing the question and answer at the end of the Zoom, we invite you to introduce yourself before asking a question. We encourage all the questions. It looks like
It does look like we
do
have two more staff.
Yeah, two more staff. We have Sasha Rabin. I don't know if she's available to introduce herself. If she is, she may.
Hi, my video stopped working on Zoom yesterday, so apologies, but super happy to be here with you all.
Huh.
I am the now off-site natural building director for Quail Springs.
And then, thank you, Sasha. And then lastly, Daniel Parhensel, who is one of our instructors on the online PDC, if he is available to say hello.
Yes, what's up, y'all? I didn't think I was gonna get called out like that. That's great. Thanks for having me. Check in. Dani, he, him, el. I am one of the co-instructors for the PDC and have a long history with Quail Springs, being an intern and a core program director for sustainable locations for many years, and then being on the board. And so, yeah, family, familia, wonderful folks. Beautiful to see a lot of familiar faces, new and old, and just, yeah, honored to be here. Excited to be here. Yeah.
Well, that wraps up those who are connected to us, and we look forward to connecting with the rest of you. But first, I'm going to pass it to Abudu for his presentation that we're all anticipating with great excitement. So, Abudu.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, just in case I don't get to the end of my PowerPoint where I talk about my experience at my own at the PDC I took at Occidental Arts and Ecology Center, I have to give a shout out to Daniel because he was there and he's the one who told me, "Hey, oh, you're from LA, you got to check out Quail Springs." And I haven't linked up with you since, but thank you for that. Because that in passing is what put me on to Quail Springs in the first place. And it's been a wonderful journey. So thank you, Daniel. Yeah, I'm humbled to be here. There's some incredible folks on this call who are super knowledgeable, and I'm sure there are many of you who could share the same presentation in a good way. So because of the brevity and the time frame today, I'm just going to be going over some of the main factors I see with the inclusion of BIPOC folks in the permaculture movement. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah, I think my internet's just a little slow. Okay.
There was a little bit of a blip.
Thank you. And
hopefully work with you.
Okay. Thank you. I have some notes here because, like I mentioned, I'm not feeling crystal clear mentally, so I'll be reading off some notes as I go through this to keep me on track. Thank you. So first and foremost, there is the hesitations around joining a movement that we don't see ourselves reflected in, right? Or that we feel is a predominantly white movement. We see the importance of BIPOC folks entering this field and becoming leaders in this field and becoming faces to the movement that make it diverse and whole, right? And invite the inclusivity of more folks. So along these lines, I give thanks to people like Daniel, like Pandora from the Black Permaculture Network in Northern California, people who are being bridges for other folks of color to come across and feel comfortable and make space for them in this movement. Now that being said, the POC discomfort in predominantly white spaces, for some folks in BIPOC field, there will be nothing that these predominantly white organizations can say or do to make these folks feel comfortable. For some people, because of the history and current events and circumstances, there are some BIPOC folks who do need the space and time to heal with people from their own ancestries, right? So to another point, there are many ways of knowing, ways that we learn, ways of learning, and also ways of remembering what our ancestors knew, right? And so to that degree, I'm pointing that this method of teaching in the PDCs has a strong Western academic approach, and will not necessarily be will not necessarily be welcomed or work for everyone in the degree that other ways of learning and knowing might. So that this is going to be something that is very beneficial for some folks, and then also that is not going to be conducive for other folks learning ways. Yes, thank you. Another point that we are often all aware of is that PDCs can be financially inaccessible for folks of color, and such was the case for myself. Occidental Arts and Ecology Center, their PDC was, I don't remember exactly, maybe $1,200, $1,400. And had it not been for a good friend of mine loaning me the money, I would not have been able to take that course. And it took me about a year to pay my friend back after that course. And had I not also been able to, I think timing, I definitely wouldn't have been able to take a step away from work to attend something like that. And I had just happened to close the pottery studio I was running for a few years. Because I really felt called that this is what I really needed to do. And I was having an earth awakening, like this is what's really calling for me right now. And this is what I need to put my time and energy towards. And I'm willing to close my current business to pursue those endeavors, knowing that this is going to hopefully bring my life into a more harmonized way with earth. So for more on some of these points, I had gotten a little, it was starting to get a little nitty gritty into the details in some of these points, and for the sake of time, I chose to leave some of that out. So I will just say for now to definitely, if you're new to this subject and want to find out more, please to follow Liberation Permaculture on Instagram, and to continue to look and read up writings on decolonizing permaculture. And I appreciate the work that Quail Springs and Occidental Arts and Ecology Center and other orgs are doing around addressing these issues and these conversations straightforward and not avoiding them, and inviting the criticism from people like Leah Pennyman and other folks of color who are related to the movement or outside of the movement, right? Who do identify with this term permaculture and the design methods, and people who don't as well. I feel like it's important to always keep open channels of communication on the table. I probably have 10 more minutes or so. So I would like to conclude this portion of my segment here in talking specifically about this is that we all have a responsibility, and responsibility to me translates to our ability to respond, and what we do with how we take this information and what we do with it and this knowledge, right, is how we are responding, and our different capacities, our different abilities. Excuse me. Our ability to respond is our responsibility, and we all have different capacities to respond. And so not carrying the weight of everything, that we have to play all the roles or do all the work. Everyone has their own role and their own work in this movement, and to be in the lane and the avenue that feels aligned for you, and that feels like you have the most impact and that nourishes you the most is very important. And to trust that other people in your community and your circle and in the movement are playing the roles that you can't, and they're doing it better than you could. So thank you. And so now I want to show a PowerPoint. I'm gonna have Madeline help me. Share screen. Okay.
Oh,
It's disabled.
yeah.
What do you mean?
They have to make you host.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm opposed.
you had,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that right now. You had left
Oh,
and
then I- yeah, see,
returned. Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Oh.
We do see your screen, Abudu.
There we go.
You see it? Okay. Great. Thank you. So first, I will show some photos of my time at Quail Springs and the natural building course. And I may have said it already, but I'm grateful to Quail Springs for making this these 2 workshops that I took there financially accessible, and offering a sliding scale, among other things, and being involved in the decolonizing work of permaculture and the accessibility work. So this is a natural building workshop that I took with John and Sasha, Jono and Sasha, and really, yeah, incredible, hands-on, and really, yeah, give thanks for that time. Getting dirty in the desert, foot stomping the cob, and which is a mixture of clay, straw, and sand for anyone who doesn't know, and building some raised garden walls, some garden walls. This is one of the structures at Quail Springs. And okay, so jumping to Aquaba Food Forest Project. And this is also related, of course, to BIPOC folks in permaculture, because after I went to thank you, Madeline's sitting here filling in. Every time I forget a word, she's like, permaculture, you know. Thank you, Madeline. So maybe, I think I have enough time to cover it all. So I'm gonna, all right, bear with me for a moment. I'm gonna skip to, the PDC first, just so it makes a little bit more sense. Okay, so here's a photo of me and a few of my dear brothers who decided we were going to all go together to take a permaculture design course. My brother Yeshua, my brother Cyrus, and Zachariah. We all went together. We were the only folks of color in permaculture design course. There was a few there, including a couple of indigenous folks from Northern California. Daniel was there hanging out. This is this is part of the course, getting hands-on experience in the garden. This is us on our site assessment, rainy day site assessment. Okay, I'm including this because I really appreciated about this course that they were partnering with the Cultural Conservancy, which is an indigenous-led organization in the Bay Area. And the Cultural Conservancy had just been given back 8 acres of land in I believe Sonoma County. And so our design project was based on, our design project was focused on the 8 acres that they had just acquired. So we were able to partner with them and work with them and give our input to how, what we would do, or our recommendations for, excuse me, in giving our site assessment and design.
Take your time.
Thank you.
Take all the time you need. You know, there's no rush, and especially understanding what you're experiencing with COVID symptoms and recovery. We all understand. So take all the time.
Thank you very much. This is a photo of part of the site there at Occidental Arts and Ecology Center. Beautiful misty mornings in the spring, moist mornings. These are our design projects being shown, or design drawings being shown at the end here. So it was just a real blessing to work with the Cultural Conservancy and have Melissa also be a presenter and have a diversity of teachers presenting from different perspectives on and who are all doing the work that's needed now to help heal and regenerate land and people, right? And I love that in that course we were negotiating the avenues between like ecosystem restoration and ecosystem restoration, right? So there's like this merging of social justice, environmental justice, and philosophical ideas and how we move forward, and also having our hands in the soil and doing real tangible work and the importance of growing vegetables and just the whole thing from the small to the large, you know. I need to pull up something for a moment. I will say that in this course, Brock Dolman, the teacher there, and this is the importance, I think, of these PDCs, is the teachers have a way of saying things that are like they're like rewiring your neural pathways, all right? And that's the gift from the elders, is that they've been around long enough. They have a way of doing this to our minds and our hearts. So, yes. Yes, Melissa Nelson. I just wanted to get her full name on here, from the Cultural Conservancy. And also getting to visit the Segorte Land Trust and a couple of the sites that they were doing in the Bay Area was really inspiring. And just to see witnessing the work of the land back movement and land rematriation in person is just very inspiring. Yes. So, yes, I will move on now to, so bringing this knowledge back from the PDC. Thank you, Madeline. It's not going. So bringing this knowledge back from the PDC to my own neighborhood. When I got back, here's another photo visiting my brothers in Virginia who were farming there. And this is one of the challenges, is like, where do folks practice this work who don't have land, right? And so this is I'm visiting my brothers in Virginia, and then I come back to California, and we're every month we're calling each other, hey, I'm stewarding this land out here. The family's so dope. You gotta come live up here with us, and then 2 months later, it didn't work out, oh, well, I got, you should come here because I got this really good, spot, and so it's a bunch of this, and we're all trying to live together because we love each other, but things are always falling through, right? And so, ultimately that's a whole nother conversation, but land access for people of color, and funding as well, and skill shares and knowledge and resources and all that, right? So coming back, Akwaaba Food Forest Project, how do I meet people where they're at? And Ashwin, forgive me if I go a few minutes over, or how are we on time? Okay, I have a few minutes. Thank you. So coming back to my neighborhood, how can I meet people where they're at, right? And share this knowledge where we're at. Right now, at the time, I was still living in suburban, outskirts of LA. So I'm like, how can I bring this knowledge to share in the urban setting? So Akwaaba Urban Food Forest Project was inspired because my brother Emeka, who runs the only African shop in Altadena, whose father's from Nigeria, my ancestors are from Britain, Germany, but also West Africa, Ghana, the Ashanti people. He had this thing called Fresh Fruit Saturday. We want to give fresh fruit and vegetables out to the community to boost our vitality, to have fresh organic produce accessible for folks. And I told him, you have this big backyard, why don't we turn this into a food forest garden and have a 10-week course where we teach folks in the community how to grow food in an urban setting. And share with them the traditional ecological knowledge as well, is the permaculture, design methods and whatnot. So this is our friend. We had many different teachers. Each teacher focused on a different thing, and over the course of 10 weeks, we built a food forest in Emeka and Baba Onoche's backyard. So here we are learning about herbs and the herbaceous layer in the food forest, and then we're planting. And we also wanted to show folks how quick you can, bring vitalization and how quick you can bring regeneration and hydration to a landscape. So this is how it looked in the summer, just from being bare dirt in the backyard to being a food forest, or the beginnings of a food forest. So we have all the 7 layers here. And, we have the joy of the children in the garden, which is most important, keeps everything else alive, just like water. And the garden is continuing to be tended, on different weekends with many volunteers and many beautiful families and people. And we're all in awe of the abundance and how quick it can all happen. This is the summer harvest, squash and beans and zucchini. And here, this also creates a safe green space for BIPOC folks to share knowledge and share culture, and also in relationship to seeds and the seeds that come from our many different ancestries and the different seeds that our ancestors have tended to, which a lot of us have been disconnected from. And so being able to adopt and being gifted seeds from other peoples, and particularly peoples of Turtle Island that we share lands with. So we grew I don't have a photo, but we grew this beautiful Hopi blue corn that was gifted to us. So here's some watermelon, some bananas, and Emeka and his partner. Emeka is the one who runs the African shop with his father, and this is his backyard. And so identifying key families in the community that are already sharing knowledge and culture and sharing their home space, and partnering with them so that we can turn their landscapes into food forests to be shared with the community, tended by and shared with the community. So again, with the children, they were harvesting seeds from the bean pods, dried bean pods, and trimming up some basil and whatnot. Oh, and then we're back to that. So yes, I had one more thing I think I wanted to say. So, did I put the Sankofa in here? Thank you. So how do I full screen this again? Thank you. So Sankofa, it comes from the Ndinkra symbology in my father's lineage. And Sankofa means to go back and get it, essentially. There's a few different meanings for it. And to conclude my talk, I just wanted to show this symbol because for me, this is what it's all about, right? It's about the ancestral ecological knowledge. It's about connecting to our ancestries and the many cultures and peoples who have the wisdom, experience, and knowledge to share so that we can move forward in a better way. And to conclude, I will share a little poem. It's like one of 2 or 3 poems I've ever written in my life, but it happened to be decent and kind of fun. So I'll just read that for you now. Reverence from Mama Nature leads us to our righteous nature. For too long, we ate the food of the system that we said we hate. When we relocalize, we are gifted a wonderful surprise. The plants are singing praises and the squash are making mazes. The weeds in the rut turned out to be grand healers of the gut. This black neighbor who they thought was scary, I gave them a berry. The soil microbiology is healing my psychology. Soil is giving sermon, and I'm even making friends with wormmen. Praises to the fungus, their presence is humongous. They said praise and build soil, you don't need all that oil. Real gold can be grown and eaten. Help to restore the Garden of Eden. Thank you.
Aburu, thank you so much for that presentation and that poem, and for sticking it out during a time of recovery from COVID. We, there you go. We really appreciate everyone, and I will speak on behalf of everyone on this call, on the Zoom call, that we appreciate, yeah, that you've done that. I would like to take a moment to just express that there's a feel in the movement of permaculture that we are also at Quail Springs very much inspired by some of the things that you're doing at Akwaaba Food Forest, that we are doing here in our valley too, helping turn parking lots into gardens. And currently we are working with the Cuyama Valley Family Resource Center, which is a social services agency in an underserved part of Santa Barbara County, where a majority of the folks here live at poverty or below poverty level. It's a food desert. Mm-hmm. And so we are inspired by this collective action to take that knowledge that we all have and co-collaborating with the needs of our neighbors. The Imagination Garden is something that we're really excited about, and we invite folks to a collaborative workday party on April 9th, where we are hoping to really get the ground moving into a direction for Earth Day later, an Earth Day celebration later in the month. So if there's any interest out there on this call to join us out here in the Cuyama Valley, I know it's a long drive for many folks, but if someone wants to see the beauty of this land and participate with the Quail Springs community in digging into the earth on April 9th, please reach out to us. A good email, Reese here will put that in the chat. So check that out, email us if you're interested. And with that, I will also hand it over to Aris to speak to our online PDC.
Thank you, Ashwin, and thank you, Abudu, for sharing your experience and your work and your journey with permaculture. We are launching our second run of the online PDC this year. And we made the transition to online programs last year due to many reasons, the ongoing pandemic being the main reason. And last year went really well, so we decided to offer the course again this year, and we've made some upgrades. So traditionally, in PDCs, the 72-hour curriculum is covered in 2 weeks, and they usually happen in person. So last year we offered the course in 10 weeks. And some of the students mentioned that it was definitely an intensive. And so we know that with the changing situation with COVID and people going back to work, and people have very busy lives, we extended the duration of the course to 24 weeks to make it more manageable for students to complete and turn in a design workbook. And so that launches April 16th. And this year we are offering single, pair, and group enrollment. So what that means is that if you sign up for the PDC as a pair or a group, so 3 to 5 people in a group, you can work with your team to go through the curriculum together. And most importantly, you can work with your group on a single design workbook and turn that in at the end of the course, and every person on your team will receive an individual certification. The course curriculum is pretty rigorous, and that is a combination of pre-recorded videos and written lessons that will be available on our main learning platform, which is learn.quailsprings.org. And students can go through the curriculum at their own pace, but we are going to be publishing the course every 4 weeks to keep participants engaged and also keeping them organized and not overwhelmed by publishing the course all at once. And a little bit about the learning platform. So we use a platform called Thinkific, and this is what we use for all of our online courses. And when you register for the course, you will receive a welcome email. So save that email and also bookmark the website so that you have easy access once the course launches. And the design workbook, this is, let me see if I can share my screen because it makes it a little bit easier. Let's see. Can you see that?
It's taking a moment.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, there we go. So this is what the design workbook looks like, and this is what I'll be sending all of the participants when the course launches. And so if you are taking the course by yourself, you would type in your name. And if you're taking it with another person, then you also type in their name. And you will be working on the design workbook every week, and we are going to be offering very clear instructions on what you should be focusing on. And you will also have the opportunity to add maps. Let me see. There we go. It's taking a minute. Add your maps, add information about your site. And when you submit, the workbook is optional. It is not required in order to take the PDC, but if folks want to receive a certificate, it is required that you complete it and turn it in by week 24, which is October 17th. And once you submit it, our instructors will review it and they will add comments and feedback. I'm going to show you what the learning platform looks like. It might take another minute because rural Wi-Fi is real. Okay, let's see. Can you see that? Okay, great. So this is what the course looks like online, and this is the copy. So this is where I'm making all of the edits. So you're getting to see like some of my work. And we have several sections. Permaculture foundations, and some of these sections are have many lessons where other ones only have like 1 to 2 lessons. And next to each lesson, you'll see like week 1, week 2, week 3. So this is what we suggest you finish after week 1, after week 2, after week 3. So this is to keep you organized. And the cool thing about Thinkific is that once you complete a lesson, you go all the way to the bottom and you usually hit complete and continue. And so the little arrows on the left of each lesson, that signifies that you've completed that lesson. And on the very top, it tracks your progress. So we've completed 2% of the course. Just wanted to give you a glimpse of what that looks like. And let me see. So this course is interactive. We are using 3 main platforms, so Thinkific. We're also using Slack, which is kind of like a chat room where all participants are going to have the opportunity to talk with one another, so all the other participants taking the course. And this is also where if you have any questions around the curriculum, the design workbook, you can ask one of our instructors and the instructors will reply usually that same day. Another platform that we're using is Zoom. And this is where we're going to have live sessions every Saturday. So it's going to be a total of 8 to 9 live sessions that are going to be curriculum focused. And we're going to have guest host. So usually an instructor is going to be the host. And this is where students are going to dive a little bit deeper into some of the lessons in the PDC and also get their questions answered. We're also going to offer Monday live sessions, which are workbook focused. So this is where you're going to get one-on-one instruction from our lead instructor, Jeff Rydell. And let me see what else. Oh, and if you can't make the live sessions because let's say you live in another country, don't worry, because they're all going to be recorded and they're all going to be uploaded to Thinkific so that you can review it at your earliest convenience. And that's it. Thanks.
So one thing that I love about this course is the balance between video content, reading content, and interactive content, plus the live sessions. So there's a really good balance for folks out there to manage an entire 2-week intensive within the context of your life. And one of the things that Abudu mentioned in our private chat before this Zoom call began was a little bit of that accessibility that an online platform can offer. Abudu, can you speak to that really quickly? I really like the way you phrased it.
Definitely, thank you. Yeah, the course being online really makes this accessible to folks who are not able to leave their communities for 2 weeks at a time. But furthermore, I will say, was there something else I said? I feel like there was more to that. But
yeah, that was a big part of it.
But okay, but I will say that, I forgot to mention that I did take the Quail Springs PDC that I was a part of last year. Yes. And it was very nourishing, very good, very well done. And I was very grateful to be a part of it because, just as I've seen again, time and again, it's always good to refresh, and different teachers are going to say things in certain ways that give you that aha moment, so to speak, or help inform further your knowledge from previous PDCs or courses. I did want to say also that at the 2-week intensive course in person, it has its own benefits, right? Because it's an in-person format, but it does feel like you're getting shot with a fire hose. Like, like the first 2-3 days you're going hard on the notes, and then, day 5, you're not even taking notes anymore, you're just trying to trust that whatever you're supposed to remember, you're going to remember. So I really appreciate the online format and you expanding it also beyond 10 weeks because it makes it much more digestible, I think. So I think that's great way to do it.
Thank you, Abudu. We recognize also that the online format has given us the opportunity to invite so many different instructors, so many people who have passed through Quail Springs, who are connected to Quail Springs, masters in their field, and that makes the perspectives that a student receives really diverse. And part of permaculture and part of the things that we're trying to introduce into a soil even is diversity. And so that is a real special part of our online platform, is that there are so many different instructors, many of whom are also on this call. I would like to open up the platform now to anyone who has any questions. I know we have quite a few people on this call, so if you just unmute yourself, introduce yourself very briefly, and ask a question either of us, specifically Aris, regarding programs, or of Abudu regarding his experience, we are all open to the questions that you will have. Or reflections. They don't have to be questions per se.
Hi, this is Ariel. I have a question. So in addition to the 72 hours, I guess, is that the online content and the text and sort of the estimated time to finish that? And then if so, what is the additional time commitment for completing the project and the workbook?
That's a great question. So the 72-hour hours is for the curriculum, so on the learning platform. And we estimate that if you attend the live sessions and you're working on your design workbook every week, that the course, it's about a 4 to 7 hour a week commitment.
For all the 24 weeks, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I don't have a question, but I do just have a response of just wanting to send y'all a lot of love and appreciation and gratitude for hosting such a powerful piece, and Abudu for the beautiful work that you do. And so great to see you again, brother, and spend that time up there. And I hit up Brock and Kendall on the call, and they said, send my love to him and Cyrus and Saka. And so, yeah, the love is far and wide. And yeah, I just want to echo the excitement for the PDC and all the great work that y'all are doing behind the scenes to get that going, and just all the greater work, community work that Quill Springs is a part of. So a lot of love and appreciation to all of you for the hard work that y'all do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. And I will mention here that please share the message with others. So those on the call who might know others who are interested in a PDC, we're always looking to spread the word. So please share it with whomever. Share our posts on Instagram, and we have in our online programming, we've never turned away a student for lack of funds, and so that's something we stand by. Even when it's difficult, even if it's difficult times to think about revenue as a reality of a nonprofit. One of the things that we believe in and trust in is that if we stand by that mission of making sure that this is available to anyone who's interested, that we will see the return on that. The earth will provide
in other ways.
Mm-hmm. And so if there are questions about scholarships or about pricing models, please reach out directly to Aris at quailsprings.org, and she'll work with you.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Ashley.
Mm-hmm. We got a few more minutes here. There's a few people that I recognize in the call. Feel free to chime in your reflections about Abudu's presentation or about our course. But I hand it over to Jan.
Yeah, let's give it to Jan.
I think you have to unmute for a second, Jan.
She's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Hi. My internet connection is unstable. So I'm worried about, but I just feel a deep appreciation for you, Abudu, and for doing this presentation, for sharing today. I love your stories and I want to hear more. I'm looking forward to your part in the PDC, and just appreciation for everybody who showed up today and bring in all the heart. And I could say more
but that's good. I saw Cyrus unmuting, which I would love to hear that from Cyrus. And oh.
Thanks, Jan.
Thanks, Jan.
Peace, y'all. Yeah, thank you, Awudu. Thanks for providing this space, Quail Springs. Very grateful to attend and to hear what my brother has to say always. And yeah, we're here in the Ojai area, so I look forward to coming and checking y'all out at Quail Springs and supporting the good work together. Give thanks. Peace.
Thank you, Cyrus. We just noticed that Alicia, you put your video back on. Is there some question you might have or reflection you'd like to introduce?
Oh, I was just going to say, I met Abudu through a mutual friend, and he invited myself and my family to the garden. So the kids that he showed in the presentation are my kids. And we're just so grateful for the opportunity. We live in East LA. This little Ife, she's laughing. We live in East LA, and it's a food desert. There's not really a lot of opportunities. And so we're just grateful that our kids have a chance to be exposed to this, and hopefully when they grow up, you know, they'll be inspired to have a more caring approach to the earth, because I think that's what we need in the next generation. So thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Alicia. I was loving that you joined this call. I didn't expect it. It was a wonderful surprise, and it's been such a blessing, yeah, to share space in the garden with your family. And you even, I just wanted to hop on to say this particularly. She came to me one day and told me that one of the kids is hooked on watching microgreens videos or something like that. I just got a big kick out of it. That's all she wanted to watch.
Thank you so much, Alicia and Abudu. Cyrus, you raised your hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing. I might have missed it, but you know, I think one of the reasons that Awudu and myself had chose to take a permaculture course when it crossed our paths and into our awareness was that, you know, there's not really a lot of educational opportunities that are available that can teach us how to work with the earth, you know, in a way that the permaculture certification process provides. Of course, there's the work of, like, you know, daily labor and working on farms and the actual experience, which is very important. But in terms of like a theoretical and kind of practical design course, you know, there's really very little available. So I think an important aspect in our times is seeing what is available to us, and then, you know, taking that and using it for however you need to use it to be in good harmony. I always like to think of it as you can eat the fish and you can spit out the bone. You don't need to eat the whole thing. You know, you don't need to choke or tear your mouth up on the bone. Just get the nice parts that's gonna help you and do the good work that way. And I think that's a really important aspect, is just, you know, if there's an opportunity that presents itself to learn something good, you take that and then you run with it however you want to run with it, make it your own, you know. So just add that. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, Cyrus. That was so heartfelt. It could be a plug, but it just felt so from the heart that it's more of it feels like a plug for the earth. We appreciate that. Yeah, so just Aris whispered in my ear. So a couple of quick shout outs, because we've got 2 more minutes here. One is to the folks next to me. This right here is the POC crew right now at Quail Springs, and it really is feels like a supportive network, and permaculture as a container for that, one that we have been actively challenging here. And I think that's part of what makes our work unique, is that as we as we learn it, we also learn how best to challenge it to make it better. And so Chacha or Chanel Lauren and Aris Romero and myself, Ashwin Mantripragra, as POCs here on the land, we are becoming more and more dedicated to expanding permaculture to communities that permaculture and whatever we want to call it, essentially expanding this work, this kind of life to communities that are often not able to be served in the same ways by it. So lastly, I want to give Abudu one last, the final word. I'd love to give you the final word, Abudu, as the person who has brought us together today with your presentation, with a plug for the donation for Akwaaba Food Forest. I know that there's a fundraiser happening for the Akwaaba Food Forest, so perhaps you can just quickly mention that and we'll close out the video.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, as you just did. Yes, on our Instagram, we have a link in the bio. We're trying to raise funds to help us continue to build the space and yeah, make it the best it can be, to host events, have speakers, and have cultural gatherings there, and grow more food. Thank you. Final words. I'm wordless. Grateful for y'all. Appreciate it.
Thanks for everyone to joining this call. We wish you a good evening and good dinner if you're on the West Coast, and a good night if you're on the East Coast or somewhere else in the world. And thanks again for everyone's attendance. Thank you, Abudu.
Hasta luego.